There's a loneliness about being a leader. And a lot of people like to think that it's that you're solo, that you're the one at the top that has all the responsibility of those underneath you, and that you're carrying the weight of your community. And that's not quite the loneliness that really touches the soul. And so we're going to talk about that today. The loneliness that really impacts highly successful individuals is those who are highly successful because they became successful to be sure that they became better than where they came from, that they will never have to worry about safety, security again. And so there's this identity around building an empire as a self-protective mechanism, as a way to make sure that one doesn't have to face those challenges that one experienced early on in their lives. So this is a really opportune shift to make for a highly successful entrepreneur, CEO, founder of any company who is making a lot of money but feels very isolated, who maybe doesn't understand now what their purpose is, what their impact is on their own tight-knit community, because often that's lacking when an identity is formed around building up all of the structure around ourselves, a kingdom, right? That is untouchable, because then you, as the king or queen, are standing on or sitting on your throne, and in that throne room, you're still separate than everyone else. There's no mutual benefit to vulnerability. There's always these hierarchies that keep us separated from those around us. I'm going to give you now 3 things that can shift this for you, because we don't want you to be lonely in your success. And we want your success to be an evolution of yourself, not the thing that is just built upon you being scared of where you came from and as a protective mechanism. I put it like this, where if we build out of fear, this is like building in the shadow of the thing that you don't like, or the history of your own history. You're trying to remove yourself from these different dynamics and situations and institutions. But if you build in the fear of not wanting to be in that ever again, you're building in the shadow of what that really is, instead of building your own real next evolution. And so these are the 3 things that I would suggest to do if you are going to recalibrate your identity of success and leadership from a place of well-being and self-sovereignty, not from a place of woundedness. First, you can jump in and play with different characters. People are doing this for a myriad of reasons, and it's fun to do. So maybe you put on a different outfit. You're just a regular Joe Schmo going to a yoga class, for example. Or you're just putting yourself in new situations where you get to meet new people. And it's not necessarily the CEO, founder you. It's just the you. Who are you when you're not looking at your success, and when you're not trying to be a leader in every moment of every day? Leadership in itself, even our identity of being a leader, is an identity. And no identity, no matter how awesome it feels, no matter how much it helps our life, no matter how much it protects us from the things that we don't want, we are still not all that. It's not all encompassing. One identity is not who we are. We are the infinite possible part of ourselves that came here to experience life. And you came here to experience more than just wealth and security. You also came here to experience friendship and community and deep intimacy. The identity of being a leader can also be a really good ego trick that plays on us, so that we're like, well, I have to be the leader, so I don't know how to join in and participate in groups or participate when I'm not the leader. So that identity can be a little too pervasive and block you from really being and receiving love, care, interest from others who you can of course vet and make sure that they're not going to take advantage of you, that they're not going to just want to be friends with you for your opportunities. And that's why you just kind of put on this other persona of yourself. Maybe you dress a little less luxurious so that you're not attracting or, putting off this luxury vibe or expensive vibe. And that in itself, it's not that you're tricking people, okay? Because people do the opposite of this. They buy fancy clothes to attract wealth and to attract this different identity of leadership or wealth or whatever that looks like for them. But when they don't quite have it yet. So we're all trying on these different characters in order to get our different needs met. And that's okay. You're not intentionally manipulating people. We're looking at deeper patterns of relationship, and those deeper relationship patterns, which we can remedy here, are in number 3 here of my suggestions. So be sure to stick to that end. Number 2, be honest and build a genuine, vulnerable relationship with peers around you. So there may be people that you already know who also feel lonely in their leadership, who also feel like because they built this empire, they always have to put on that front and they always have to be on. And that can be really exhausting. And so you're not alone. This is a very common dynamic for leaders. It's because of the hierarchy. And we, in 2026, as we move beyond where we've been in business, especially in the United States, especially in capitalistic industrial societies, where being a leader means that you're the one in that status of hierarchy, that's all coming down. And I will talk about this in other videos where we talk about the leadership styles and the values that we are cultivating as leaders in 2026 and beyond. But I digress. Back to this point, number 2, being genuine and vulnerable with those around you that you already know who may be feeling the same way can bridge a gap and also create a tight-knit community. Loneliness is really signaling is that we don't have any sense of deep belonging. It's like being able to call up someone and say, hey, what are you doing tonight? I have nothing going on. You want to go get dinner? And they're like, oh yeah, for sure. We're just hanging out. We're just enjoying time together. It's this experience of belonging that a lot of leaders are missing because we're so focused on advancing our business or protecting that part of ourselves that we're scared of still, that we haven't integrated yet. So that will bring me to my 3rd point. The 3rd thing you can do to remedy this identity around loneliness as a leader, this deep sense of loneliness, is the capacity to be seen intimately and to participate in deep co-creative relationships. Because when we're in a hierarchy, there's a lack of co-creation in the sense of a lot of people think that to be a leader, we have to be professional, we have to be polished, we have to know all the answers. We need to not show any emotional weakness so that we don't lose the trust of our team. And those things, while in some essence can be true, I want to challenge us in 2026 to lead from a place where we are being authentic about ourselves. And when our teammates come to us with their authenticity about what their needs are as a human being, they can see that that's supported in our dynamics, in our leadership. But this isn't talking even about what you're leading or how you're leading in your business. This is still also talking about the identity around not needing to use leadership as a protective shield, as a way to say, well, I have to perform this. I have to put on my armor every day and be the successful human being. And that blocks authentic connection. It blocks heart coherence with other people. It blocks shared oxytocin and hormones that we use to bond with each other when we are willing to share our emotional experience and what's going on in our world and in our inner world. And that's the scary part. If we haven't yet integrated these deeper aspects of our own childhood psyche. Because if we built leadership on performance, perfection, and profit, or even purpose, these are all external measures of, I have built this kingdom around me so that I don't have to feel vulnerable. And there's this aspect of vulnerability that we've forgotten, which is if we don't have meaningful connection in our day-to-day interactions where we on a soul level feel comfortable and held, we will feel lonely. We will feel as if no one understands us, as if we're holding the world on our shoulders. And that's not sustainable. It's not sustainable for your soul. That's why a lot of people get their success and then they feel empty and depressed. Or why they feel anxious, because this performance has to continue the production and it's a hamster wheel we can never get off of. And so the real work is this deeper identity shift and coming from a place of being willing to be a human being, even in our leadership. It's willing to be seen as somebody who may not have it all figured out, but you are a leader who will figure it out for your community. You're still a leader who's willing to sacrifice for your community, but as you lead everyone forward, they're coming with you, right? It's not a sacrificial thing, and it's not a thing that you have to perform. It's the identity of a integrated leader. Okay. I trust that that's enough information. And if you want to go deeper, if you really desire to have this locked in for 2026, or I should actually say, if you want to shed this monolith of this character of being a leader and the kingdom around you, I'm not saying you have to dismantle your systems, that you can't have structure and boundaries and expectations and your systems in place to create the river banks of your river flow of currency, wealth, and purpose in your community. But I am saying the river banks will still hold when there's water in the river, when there's life in the feminine energy of connection and passion and nurturing and belonging. When we merge both of these energies, we have the structure and we have the life. And however that life is flowing, sometimes it's a rushing river tumbling through the different rocks and different, these different dynamics and depths and heights. And then sometimes it's a calm river. But can we hold all of this capacity of our humanness within the structure? So good for you. You've built the structure and now you get the opportunity that a lot of people don't get to have. Opportunity to know and learn who you are and to integrate these deeper parts of yourself without being worried that if you do that, if you spend time on this, that you will lose wealth. You have the capacity and the time and the space to integrate now, because that's what's being asked of you. If you're feeling lonely, this is the next level of this deeper level of integrating for you. It's the next season and I'm so excited for you. So let me know how all of that feels, how all of it sounds. Just know that if this is something you're willing to walk through, that you don't have to do it alone. I accept new clients at the beginning of each month for a leadership audit and reset so we can do this work together. So I will see you soon and see you on the next video.